Welcome back to this week's video. So this isn't going to be a numbered episode, this is going to be something slightly different. I'm not working on the 928 this week, we're across onto the 996 Turbo. The 996 has a CV joint on the front, this side here, front outer CV boot has ripped. I need to get that fixed for it to pass its MOT, which is a test that we do in the UK for every vehicle older than 3 years, to make sure that it's roadworthy. Now, just out of interest, if the car is over 40 years old, which is 928, 43-year-old car, it doesn't need an MOT, which seems a little bit illogical, but let's not argue with that because it saves me a lot of work. So 996, we're going to have to take this, take the wheel off, take the suspension out. I'm going to be following one of the online tutorials. I'll post it in the description so you can see what I've been doing. And let's just get on with it. I mean, it should be pretty straightforward. If you're not subscribed already, please click subscribe. You can see a lot of videos about me restoring this 928, which is great fun. I'm going to be doing a lot more about the 996 now that the 928 is up and running. But there's a lot of, well, I think there's a lot of entertainment back there. Go and have a look and you can see. Click subscribe, click the like, leave me some comments. But for now, let's just get in and fix this boot. Now, I don't have the ability to apply 340 foot-pounds to the axle nut. So what I've done is I've mounted the socket set on an axle stand to keep it sort of very level, straight, pushed in, and I've got a scaffold pole. I've measured out 4 feet along the scaffold pole and worked out sort of back of the fag packet, okay, on my calculator, that I need to apply 38 kilograms of weight to undo the nut. So that's what we're going to be doing. It should come undone. It's a little bit scary because that is an awful lot of torque down here at the small end. I should probably have a 3/4 inch socket set. I don't know, I only have 1/2 inch is the biggest I've got. But let's just get that nut undone, get the wheel off and we can start doing the work. Right, so I'm following one of the online guides, tutorials, how to do this CV joint. So what we need to do is basically slacken off the control arm where it touches the car and undo the bolt this end on the control arm. Then we can remove the ball joint here, and there's one on just the other side of this this piece here. That allows the whole assembly to sort of slide out the way, and we should be able to get the drive shaft out. So I'm going to try and do that now. To make things a little bit easier, I've just loosened the underbody, you know, one of these protective trays. I've not taken it off completely, but it's enough to get the spanner in there just to loosen the bolt on the control arm. I can tell you now, undoing that bolt has been no picnic. I've pretty much got it going now. That's the one on the top of the control arm. If I just zoom you out, you see where I am. Right in the back of there. I'm still struggling to get the other end of the control arm off, which is right up the back there. I just need to loosen that nut, but it is super tight. But we're slowly getting there. Finally, I got it out. I'm less confident on the 911 than the 928, so everything I'm going to label up, I know that's the lower control arm. That goes in the pot with everything else. Now we just need to get that inner control arm bolt undone, which is about there. I've taken the pan down, sort of underpan thing, what you would call it, enough, so I can access it. It is super tight. But while I'm waiting for the penetrating fluid to penetrate, I'm going to undo these, there's a couple of ball joints here that I need to take off, so we'll do those first. Right, first ball joint is just here. It's a M18, so we're going to try and get on that now. I'm not expecting it to come undone particularly easily because it's very exposed to the weather, and it's a ball joint, so the actual joint is going to turn inside. But let's just try it. Okay. Yeah, that's given up quite easily. Now I can't tell if it's turning internally, so let's just see what it does for a minute. No, it's actually coming straight off. Okay. No, I didn't know that was a thing. I did give it quite a good soaking, so that's it come off there. Let's not argue with it. Let's just label her up and move on to the next. So just swooping you in around the back of the disc. You can see the drive shaft coming in here. Now the ball joint we need to do is just where my finger's tapping. That's the bottom of the knuckle. It's a bit grubby, so I'm going to just tie it up and then see if we can get it out. This is the CV joint we need to replace that's leaking. So it's just a matter of getting this stuff out of the way, and it should swing this knuckle and everything out, and then we can get to the ball joint, get to the drive shaft. Now that ball joint has been leaked on by the grease that's inside the CV joint, which is handy in a way because it's lubricated it. So I'm expecting it to come out okay. I just need to be able to get a spanner on it or something. That'll probably do. Let's see if we can undo it. No, we can't undo it. Let's just put a little bit more force on it. Yeah. It's not exactly keen, I'd say. Okay, I don't know what happened there, but it's finger tight almost. I must have been pulling against, it must have been jammed in against something because it's really quite loose. Yeah, how strange. Alright, so I'll do it with a socket now because I think I can just drop down on top of it. It's 18mm. How convenient. Unfortunately, I don't own an 18mm ratchet spanner. Okay, finally another one out. So that's the what I'm going to call the lower ball joint, which is actually the one that's directly behind here. That's out. So now all I need to do is undo the inner control arm bolt that should allow this control arm to drop down and then the whole thing swap out. I need to separate the ball joints. Let's quickly do that now. Ball joint separation is not something I've got a huge amount of experience of. I've done a couple along my time. I've got a tool, brand new tool, nothing fancy of course. It should just slide in there like that. Should be the hopeful word. I've just about got it in there. If I just tighten up by hand. Now I'm going to have to do it two hands. Okay, so let's open it up nicely. That's about as far in as I'm going to be able to tap it, I think. And it would be nice if it was a little bit further. Let's see if it will just... Oh yeah, no problem at all. Right, so it's gone in a little bit further. Hopefully that's enough. Right, let's see if we can pop this ball joint then. I'm hoping it won't be too difficult. Or too loud, make me jump. There you go. Woo! That was quite loud. Okay, so that's the, presumably it's the steering out the way. And we're slowly getting there. So I've just got to undo that bottom one now. Let's give you a look at that. There we go. So there's the lower ball joint. I can't tap it, but you see it there. I'm going to separate that, and then I think the whole steering knuckle will just swing out the way, allowing us to get to this drive shaft. Right, with a bit of brute force and tinkering around, I've managed to hammer that right in there now. So I'm fairly confident that's gonna bite this time. Let's have a look, and I'm expecting a bit of a bang as well. So be prepared. Woo! There she is, bang on cue. Right, so that's that separated. Now, what I really need now is that lower control arm bolt undone, so this can drop away, and that'll allow me to swing this whole steering knuckle out and get to that drive shaft. And now it's all opened up, you can actually see the split in the boot there. So at least we know we're not doing wasted work. Okay, rejoining the action. I had a break while I was sorting out the 928 exhaust. So to recap, undo the nut and bolt here, which holds the lower control arm. That allows it to drop away. Break off the ball joint there, and there's a ball joint here. They clip into here and here on the knuckle. Where is it? Just here. And then you're left with the drive shaft. So the drive shaft, you need to get the CV joint off, and that is held on by a little tiny, if I can turn it around, clip. Now hopefully it's focusing. I've put it facing 12 o'clock, so it's north, 12 o'clock in that photo. And you have to get the little tiny pliers like this, get those, and you get it between, and then open it up and then tap it off with a rubber mallet. Now it's taken me probably the best part of I suppose an hour to get it off of there. And what I finally realized was that the clip had been released and was actually sitting on the edge of the spindle. So it wasn't actually in the groove, which is what stops it coming away. It was just towards me a little bit. And all it needed was a good couple of whacks with the hammer, which I tapped round and round, sort of this way. Oops, the light's falling down. Get the light out of the way. Like this, sort of back towards me, and it finally came off. So with that off, I can now slide the boot back on to the shaft. So I'm going to clean the shaft up first, and the boot will slide on, and then we put the CV joint back on and put the clips on. So we'll give a clean up. I'm not going to kill myself clean this one up, just make it so it's nice and smart. And I've not even opened the box up yet, so let's quickly have a look inside, check what I've won. Right, and there's the boot. So if I just compare it with the original, which is this one, I believe, I think it's that one. Yeah, it's identical. Brilliant. So I know that's going to fit. We just slide her on. Actually, let's put the, if we're clever with this, we can actually put the clip on first. It'll make our lives a bit easier, I think. So we slide that on like that. The clip will come on that side, but for now I'm going to slide it all a bit further down. Probably there will be enough. And then we pop the CV joint back on. After we've got that on that side as well. Putting it that side means I don't have to sort of smash it over the CV joint later on. And all we have in here is grease. Right. Now I believe I can just put this on and it will click when it goes in deep enough. Alright. May need a little tap. Right, let's have a look. If I'm lucky, I've put it up the correct way. Okay, I'm going to have to get my head in there and have a look. What I want to do is sort of look back inside there and just see if the clip has dropped inside the groove that's on the drive shaft. If it has, all good. We can just slide this over and tighten those up. Right, so I've been very careful to keep the CV joint nice and clean, but now I need to repack it with grease. And I've read somewhere along the line, don't try to fill up the boot, just try to get a really good helping inside the actual joint itself, which I'm just going to sort of smear it around inside there. Right, I've got this far, I've got that outer clip on, and the inner clip I just cannot get to fit. I'm sort of pulling it over, trying to squeeze it over this. And then late one night I realised I've done it wrong. I need to take this whole thing off, put this clip on the boot, and then slide it on. So I'm going to quickly strip this off, take the clip off, take the, obviously pull it back, clear the grease off, pull off the CV joint, take all this stuff out, pull the whole thing off, put the clip on, and then try and reassemble. Right, finally I've managed to get this CV joint back off. They are hard work. I mean, I'm using one of these tools just to sort of pull the ring apart, and then tapping it with a rubber mallet. But my God, that's taken probably best part of an hour to get it off again. But it's off. So now what we can do is this. If I just wipe some of the grease off, I can take the boot off again, and I'll show you what my problem was. So boot off, clip off. So I've got the boot, I've got the clip, and I put this on the shaft, and well, I put this on the shaft, then put this on the shaft, and I was trying to get it over, but you can't. I think you have to do it here like this, like that, so the clip is now on, and then slide it on the shaft, and I'm guessing that will go on like that. Now I can put it all back together, grease it up, click my CV joint back on, and then crimp up the two clips. Now I've got a lot of these clips now, 3 of them here, a couple in the drawer, because they're really difficult to get to clip on. I found it a big problem. Only one of them I could actually get on, which is this one, so I may try and reuse that. I was very careful how I took it off. Hopefully it's going to survive it. But we can start reassembling now, so if I just clean my hands. Alright, let's give it a clean up. So I've squirted it out with brake fluid. That will get any potential bits of wood in there, which could have come from me cleaning out, hitting it off. I'm just looking at the clip to make sure that's okay. You can actually see, hopefully it refocuses, but you can see the clip inside here. If I just move it, you'll see it moving around. And you can check the ball joint works with your finger. All quite nice. And let's put that back on then. Let's think before I put it on, because I know when it goes on it's a nightmare to get off. It's an hour of my life. And I'm going to put it on upright as well. Last time I managed to put it on upside down and then had to carefully walk the whole drive shaft around, which is also a pain. Right, that should just tap on. Do it on camera, all the better. Might be on actually. I can't tell from there. Let's just give it a couple of good hits, and I'll get my head inside there and just check that that little clip has dropped within the groove that's on the drive shaft. That's good though. We are moving forwards again, which has been a bit of a nightmare on this project. Excellent. I'm sure my lamp's gotten dimmer and dimmer. I've adjusted the camera so you can see, and I've managed to get this clip on quite easily. I actually did it, let me show you, using these sort of pliers that are really for the clips that get the CV joint off. So I just poked one prong in there, pop the other prong, sorry, I'm a little bit crazy with the camera, like that, and that, where is it? There, and then open up the pliers, and it tightened up the clip enough that it just clicked on here. So that bad boy is clicked in. All I need to do now is pinch it up with the special tool, both ends, and we're done. Right, so with all of that done up, all that's left to do is put this drive shaft back inside the hub here and bolt it all back up. Right, the only thing left to do now is to put the wheel back on and then tighten up the nut when it's actually sitting on the floor. There we go. Right, that's ready to go down, back on the floor, and tighten up the nut. Right, so the last thing to do is to torque up the axle nut. Now the axle nut needs 340 foot-pounds of torque. That's quite a lot. The only way I can do that is by using a very long bar. So what I'm going to do is convert 340 pounds into kilograms, which is about 154 at 1 foot. Now I've got a 4 foot long pole, so 154 divided by 2 comes out 77 divide by 2 again, so that gives the 4 foot, is 38 kilograms at 4 foot. So what I intend to do is use my 4 foot pole on the end of my my torque wrench and measure my weight and then press down until I've reduced my weight by 38 kilograms. Right, so using the same setup as before, I've got the socket set put in, standing on an axle stand just to keep it sort of steady and secure. And then we're going to put the 4 foot pole on. It's actually 5 feet, but I've measured off 4 feet, and there's a mark here with my scales. So if I stand on my scales, 88 dressed. Right, so what I need to do is push down so that it reads 50, exactly 50 kilograms. There we go. Woo. Okay, that came all the way down to 51. I'm going to call it quits there. It's going to be about 328 or something that's talked up to, which is right in the right ballpark. I don't want to break it. That feels so tight. I'm going to use a 1/2 inch as well, which I probably should use 3/4 inch for that amount of torque. But it's done. Right, and that's it. All done and dusted. I won't lie, that took me about 2 months to do, although you can't tell on the video. Part of the way through, I got distracted building a stainless steel exhaust for the 928. If you want to check those videos out, they're back on my channel. Quite interesting. I'd never tried it before, and I think it came out pretty good. It sounds pretty sweet. On the 996, I hit a problem with the lower control arm bolt where it connects to the chassis. I couldn't undo that. That took me forever, and I soaked it, I heated it, everything you can imagine. And in the end, it was the nut I was trying to undo, and it's very restricted the space you have to work in. In the end, I actually dawned on me, let's try and do the bolt, because it's just a bolt pushed through holding the control arm to the chassis. And the bolt turned pretty easily, actually. So, and with that, the whole control arm could drop away, as you can see in the video, and everything else was straightforward. The other place I really struggled was getting the large clip round, and I think I show you how, a little trick I used using the separator tool actually in reverse, and it worked really well, so I recommend doing that. But other than that, it's a very straightforward job. That's all talked up now. What I'm going to do is take the car down the garage to get it MOT'd, and I'm actually going to ask them just to look over it, just to make sure I've done it all right, just to be sure. These things are fast, and I worry about me working on a car that's quite that fast. I don't worry too much about the 928 because I don't go fast. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it's useful. Please click like, click subscribe, and leave me comments. Tell me if I did anything wrong there, or if you see any better ways of doing things. And I'll see you next time.